Good morning. This video is intended for Kathleen Ferris-Coss's Management 420 Marketing Research class. It will give you an overview of how to do research in the Maxwell Library. You can begin with the student portal and click Library and go to the library resources. There are tabs at the top that you can go to find additional information. If you want to find data, find journals, find books, you can go to Find. If you're interested in what services or what other resources we have, you can go to Services or About Us. I'm going to focus on our how to do research and assignments for this particular course, and you will be given the link directly to this, but should you not have access to finding that particular link, I'm going to give you the details on how to get there. So from the library homepage, just go to the student portal, click Library, and you'll be on this page. Go to Research and Assignments, Max Guides, and we have multiple guides over 53 subject areas, and of course this is for a management class, so we're going to scroll down to business management, and today we're going to be using the resources under Management 420 Marketing Research for Professor Ferris-Coss, Fall 2020. This video is part one. It is an overview of how to access the library resources. It will provide you with how to evaluate resources, how to begin to thinking about fake news, and to discuss briefly what plagiarism is. So from this page, we're going to start with evaluating resources. Evaluating websites is an important skill, and it is not an exact science. You will need to look at a variety of criteria before making a decision about using a web resource, a newspaper, a magazine, or journal article, or anything else you choose to use for your 8 resources for this particular class. 4 of them will need to be academic resources, and we'll be discussing that over the course of our instruction session. If you are using a website, you can start by looking at the domain. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from an education site? Is it coming from a government site? This is not an exact science, but it will give you an idea of where the resource is coming from. If it's a .net or .onion, generally it's not reliable. You can evaluate a website also by its currency, by its author, and you can check the quality and quantity of information by going through fact checks, and there's a number of different ways you can check fact books. What you want to be aware of is any biases that are going on in that article. Are they trying to persuade you or influence you, or are they just giving you references or information and data? For further information on evaluating resources, you can watch the little video on this page on evaluating sources for credibility. From here, if you'd like to know anything about further information on identifying fake news, you can click the next tab that says Identifying News Sources. On here, we discuss how to determine whether something is phishing. You can go directly to a source if you're wondering if the content seems reliable. So if it mentions the CDC said, you can go to the CDC or World Health Organization and find facts and information that references that particular resource. Be aware of fake marketing, scammers, and other things. There's no one way of telling definitively. You can check Google's Snopes and fact check to see if your resources are reliable. You can go to the original resources, but this page will give you some background on that. After you've done your research, you want to be aware of plagiarism. You do not want to commit plagiarism because that's stealing someone else's work. What is stealing someone else's work? If you copy, paste, or use any part of the information without citing those resources and quoting those resources, that is plagiarism. If you steal someone else's work, purchasing work from someone else, turning in someone else's work, copying words or ideas from someone else, failing to use quotation marks, and copying and quotation marks are all sources of plagiarism. And you can actually commit self-plagiarism by using your one paper for a course that you've already gotten credit or resources for. So this plagiarism link will give you some additional information and feedback. So you can use those particular resources for additional information. I'm going to concentrate most of this video and other videos on the tab that says Home. If you're Want to begin? You can start thinking about scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. You can also look at the Maxwell Library to find out what books and videos we have, and we'll be talking about each of those in more detail in a little while. So this particular page starts with a description of what the difference between scholarly and peer-reviewed peer-reviewed versus popular resources are. What is that difference? A scholarly or academic journal is printed by scholars for scholars. It usually starts with an abstract or summary. It usually gives the author's credentials and author's affiliation. It generally has an abstract or summary. Not all do, but many of them start with an abstract or summary. In some fields, they have data or charts and graphs in it, and all scholarly journals have bibliographies or citations to the resources. Some of them are peer-reviewed. A peer-reviewed journal is written by scholars for scholars and then assessed or evaluated by other scholars in the field. And we'll be discussing how to determine whether something is scholarly or academic versus a popular resource. A popular resource printed in a newspaper or a magazine, like at a newsstand, is not generally an academic resource. If you would like to use books, you can use our online catalog, the Maxwell Library Catalog. I've already put a link in here, so you can just type in your topic. So if you're interested in student engagement, you can type in student engagement and then say search, and this will search our catalog for resources on that particular work. This first one, Student Engagement in Campus-Based and Online Education, is a book. It was printed in 2006, and it shows me the location within the library of that particular resource. Some of them are books, some of them are audio resources, some of them are online resources that you can just click a link and watch that particular things, and others are physical items within the library that you can check through. You can narrow your search down by various categories on the left-hand side. So the library's online catalog will give you books and videos and other resources that are physically within the Maxwell Library, and you're welcome to check those resources at your leisure. So this overview is just a beginning assessment on the Maxwell Library, and we will have part 2, which will be how to find journal articles and scholarly resources within the library databases and also within Google Scholar. Thank you.